Hi guys, Ray Rosal here, welcome back. Me, Matt, talking to you the viewers, and today I am in Edinburgh town for the Message from the Skies event. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but like from what I've read and gather, it's like a treasure map thing. You download an app, it's called Message from the Skies, but it's just the initials. It does run from the 1st to the 25th of January, so it finishes on Burns night. I'm just going to sit down here while I talk to you. So yeah, it's called Message from the Skies. 25 days of January. It's linked in with the Edinburgh Harmony, so it's like a treasure map. You download the app, it's got 12 chapters, and you go to the first building and there's like light displays on the side. Then once you get to the first building, it unlocks the next chapter, so it tells you to go to another building. So it sounds quite exciting, to be honest. It starts at 5 o'clock and it finishes at 10 o'clock. You don't have to be there for 5 o'clock, it's just like what time it actually starts. And anything else I need to say? Yeah, I am quite excited. It lasts just under 2 hours. There's a lot of walking, I presume. So we'll soon see how exhausted I am after, because I think we both know I can't exactly walk, talk and record at the same time. That's why I'm sitting down here. So I'm going to go to the first chapter, which is at Signet Library, Parliament Square, which is just up that way, so I'll be heading there now. So although I'm back now, as I was recording all of the footage for this video, it did kind of get harder and harder for it to actually pick up on the videos. It was much better in person, so I'm just going to do a little intro to each of the chapters of the walk. Now this was I've already said it, I didn't have a problem with the first chapter, but the first chapter was at Signet Library, sorry. And a little intro is, the Signet Library is home to the Society of Writers of Her Majesty's Signet. I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, a respected body of lawyers over 500 years of history. So that was chapter 1. So I'm just at the first building, and on the wall, I don't know if you can see, it says the next show is at 4 minutes. So we'll soon see what it's all about. Also, please forgive me if you can't exactly read any of it or whatever is on the building. I haven't got a great camera, I'm using my iPod. So I think it's the first time properly I've used my iPod for vlogging. Normally I use my phone, so I don't know what the difference will be going to be compared to my normal videos that I do. So today is a bunch of firsts. So yeah, it says 3 minutes to go, so see you in 3 minutes.
What was this?
So that was the first one at Signet Library outside St Giles Cathedral. You see the cathedral. I've been in there once. Sat down on a bench, didn't do anything. So that was the first one. I am going to go to the next one now, which is at the Scottish Library. Didn't think much of that one, but I think that was just like the opening of the story. From what I gather, it's going to be like different stories for Edinburgh. Edinburgh story, I'm guessing. So see you at the next chapter. Now chapter 2 was just round the corner, which is at the National Library of Scotland. It was a bit short but sweet, as you will see, and Scotland's largest library has a collection of over 15 million printed items, 7 million manuscripts, 2 million maps, and over 32,000 films and 25,000 newspapers and magazine titles. Now, I would not like to be the person who would have had to print it all of that. Now, I'm going to obviously insert the clip after each chapter. So that was chapter 2. Was that it?
What do you mean? What's that supposed to mean, huh?
Now chapter 3 was at a writers' museum, the Writers' Museum, which was just around the corner again, at I can't even talk. Lady Stairs Close. Now, this was the first time I've actually been to this one. It was just around the corner, off one of the paths from the Royal Mile, which it was like such a dark alley, and it was at this one where I made 2 friends, and if I remember right, the names was Rosie and Lynn. Lovely couple. And from there I carried on going around with them. I didn't get them on video or anything, but this one is at Lady Stairs Close, is steeped in centuries of history and has a number of libraries, what's that word? Literary associations. Literary? Why can't I say that word? Literary, not literally, literary, like, you know, like papers and books and stuff like that. So that is chapter 3.
And there's Robert Louis Stevenson. As well as Jekyll and Hyde, he gave us Treasure Island with Long John Silver and Blind Pew and Jim Hawkins the Cabin Boy. Characters we all know from a story that's been adapted for every medium in the known universe. Have you noticed what they've got in common? Look at the ground beneath your feet. You're walking on words. The words of Scottish writers down the ages. Quotations from their poems, their stories, their essays. Look more closely. What do you see? Can you count?
On the ground, quotations from works by Scottish writers are engraved into flagstones as part of an evolving literary monument called Macker's Court.
We're outnumbered 8 or 9 to 1. For every woman writer who said something worth carving into a slab of sandstone, there are 8 or 9 men represented here in Macker's Court. Anyone would think that women had nothing to say for themselves.
The projections in the Writers' Museum disappear, then a single one appears across the whole building.
Wrong.
We now hear the woman emerge from the other side of the close. She appears to be sitting on a ledge.
Chapter 4 is at the Museum of the Mound, which was another short walk from chapter. Did I say chapter 3? Chapter 4. This is chapter 4. Was at the Bank of Scotland and the Scott Monuments. Built in 1806 as a head office of the Bank of Scotland, and now a Scottish headquarters of the Lloyds Banking Group. This imposing building has been part of the Edinburgh skyline for more than 200 years. So a bit of history for you there. And then we're on to chapter 5. Chapter 4 now. as you will see, chapter 5 isn't the same as all the other ones. It was like more illustrations on the wall. And chapter 5 was at the Scotman Steps. Built in 1899, the connecting of the old town to the new town. The Scotman Steps bridge 2 periods in time, 2 different ways of life, and I thought it was quite fascinating because it literally is a stairway. If you know Edinburgh, you'll know about the old town and new town, and this access was literally going from old town into new town from stairs onto the bridge linking the two. Finally at the top. This was my favourite one. This was chapter 6, and this was at Waterloo Place Arch. And if you are a fan of the movie Trainspotting, this is the actual tunnel that the opening sequence of the first movie where they filmed. They run down some steps and they run through a tunnel, and this is the tunnel that was actually in the movie Trainspotting. So that was chapter 6. This is chapter 6. Yeah.
We're coming to get you, 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 we're coming to get you.
Find out what happens next. Make your way to Cathedral Lane in front of St Mary's Catholic Cathedral.
Alright.
Oh, he got the point.
Ooh, echoes. 7 was at Conan Doyle pub, which I think for this for the period between the 1st and the 25th, they actually have renamed it J.K. Rowling after J.K. Rowling. So St Mary's is a cathedral church of the I can't read that word. Something of St Andrews and Edinburgh. The contains the national shrine of the St Andrew, Scotland's patron saint. If that makes any sense to you. Forgive me if I have offended anyone by saying that, but I'd not too much in knowledge of stuff like that. But it was to do about the chapel, but right next to it led to a pub, which was Conan Doyle pub, also at this precise moment known as J.K. Rowling. Chapter 8 led on to 38 Albany Street. Now, there wasn't no lights or anything with this one. It was just a sign on the wall, like a little plaque. I did get a photo of it, but it wasn't a good photo. I will insert it like I have with all the other chapters, but I didn't actually get a proper picture of it. So that was chapter 8. Now, chapter 9 led on to 17 Heriot Row. Again, this wasn't, well, it was a light show, but it wasn't a light show. I will insert the picture. It was like a room with the light on, and against the window was just like cut out sentences. And some of them was quite interesting, so I'll let you have a little look at that. Now, chapter 10 was very, very creepy. It led on to St Cuthbert's churchyard, and by this point we had actually lost many of the other people who we started off. So it was literally me and these two other girls I befriended standing in the middle of a churchyard waiting for the next show to start, and it was so creepy. There was actually, to make it even creepier, there was a bit of light. I was standing next to a lamppost and it just kept on flickering, and that was like off-putting because it was like really scary. It was like not scary, just creepy, like a start of a horror movie. I'm quite shocked that I had if I hadn't befriended these two ladies, then I think halfway through I would have gave up and gone home. So I am glad I actually made friends with these two people. Chapter 10.
There's been a church on this site since the 12th century, and this is my family's gravestone. You see my name there? Youngest daughter of the spouses, James Ferrier and Helen Coates. My bones are part of the very foundation of the city. And there's plenty of room in the family vault for our next victim. Another critic heading this way right now. Not looking for my inscription, obviously. He's come here in search of the last resting place of Thomas de Quincey, the author of Confessions of an English Opium Eater. Things have come to a pretty pass when Edinburgh critics are more interested in an English junkie than a successful Scottish novelist. Quiet now. We don't want to scare him off. We'll let him get close up and then...
Not so fast, Susan. You're doing this all wrong.
Muriel, is that really you?
You summoned me, and here I am.
I'm so pleased to see you. We're doing great work this night. Restoration, resurrection, revenge. Killing the critics who have smothered our reputations under a blanket of obscurity. Come, take my hand. Together
Have all those years in the grave taught you nothing, Susan? This isn't the way we do things. We're not Burke and Hare, the resurrection men. We're women. We're smarter than that. Killing critics. You might as well take a vegetable knife to the seven-headed hydra. Get rid of one, and 5 other bloggers will rise up in their place.
No, you're wrong. We have to teach them a lesson. Make them pay the price for what they've done to us.
You think that will make them love us? Oh, Susan, you couldn't be more wrong. Subtle means, that's what we have to employ. We have to remind them that we are the creme de la creme. We've been betrayed, just like Jean Brodie was betrayed in her prime. But that's not the end of the story. Subversion, intrigue, and machination, that's how we recover our position. Leave it to me now.
But Muriel...
You'd never know, reading her books, that Susan Ferrier could be so silly. A writer so alive to the absurdities of others should have a sense of her own travesties. Now, we have work to do. Shall we get on?
And chapter 11 led on to King's Stable Road. Now this one wasn't really not a good one to film. I couldn't pick any of it up on camera. Again, it was much better in person. So I just pretty much gave up trying to get it on camera, and it was we was overlooked by the castle, so you'd see the back of the castle. You'll see a bit of the road that I was actually standing on. The setup of this one was literally the only way you could see it was standing in the middle of the road. I was standing in the middle of the road on the entrance to the is it Lawn Market? Grass Market, or is it Lawn Market? I don't know, Grass Market or Lawn Market. Yes, so the way they actually positioned this one was rubbish. It's a bit of a weird position to be screening it, to be honest. And finally, chapter 12 was the last one, which led us to Greyfriars Bobby Cemetery. It was a nice one, actually. Well, I'll say nice one. This was another one I enjoyed. There was just like a little ending story. I think I pretty much got most of this one on camera. And then, as it finished, towards the right of it, lights, like names, like lit up at the end of like. So what I'm trying to explain is the light show thing finished. The names went up, and then the names of the authors lit up at the side of it. So you could actually, as you was walking away, different authors lit up of the different people who was involved on writing these stories. So that was chapter 12. So that's everything. I'm going to sign off there. I do apologise if it was very hard to see on camera. It's much better to go in person. If you are watching this and you are living in Edinburgh, I much recommend you going. I also recommend you going into a group of people, because as I say, if I was on my own, I would have gave up halfway through, because it happens at night. You are going in cemeteries on your own, down dark alleys, and God knows what happens to you. So yes, if you are still watching, it's a huge thumbs up from me. Hope to have a huge thumbs up from you, and thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I will see you next time. So it's a goodbye from me, Matt, and a goodbye from Rainbow Soul. Stay sassy.